took you so long?
Well,
What took you so long?
I was in the bathroom.
Oh,
I'm playing hurt today.
you're playing hurt
I
today.
was shaving, and I cut myself,
nicked yourself.
here and here.
Does that either mean that you switched from a old razor that was less sharp to a new razor that's sharper?
It's exactly what I did. And I thought mentally, be careful now. But you know, when you got the old one, you're just hacking away,
Yeah.
you're grinding on it, and then you get a new one. And it's like slice and dice. So
Yeah.
I'll try not to bleed all over here.
Yeah. Maybe viewer discretion is advised as there's some blood going on.
This is
Not for all audiences.
rated R because of the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is 17.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, we are going to have Cal Handel sometime on our podcast coming up
We
soon.
sure are.
A local, well, he's your buddy. He's everybody's buddy, but he's your buddy. You played baseball with him in high school and everything, and he was a great athlete. He was your first baseman on your state tournament team.
was.
But he is going to come by and be on the couch for an interview sometime. But here's my point.
Okay, good.
I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure you did. But I said at our podcast last week, I said I thought that it might be good for us to eat during each podcast. You know, that would put people at ease. I thought it was a great idea. But overwhelmingly, our viewers said no.
Overwhelmingly.
One person.
One
That was
person.
Cal.
Yeah.
That said, nope, I don't think Todd should eat. Or I don't know if he said just me or everybody should eat during the podcast. So we're not going to.
Yeah.
Because we listen to our viewers.
We'll still do our taste test, but I don't think everybody wants to hear you
chewing stuff.
doing that on the microphone.
Yeah.
So
Like I said though, when people give feedback, we listen.
do.
We
Yeah.
listen.
we're a podcast for the people.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
the
we
people,
are.
by the people. So Cal, thanks. You know,
Yeah, appreciate
we'll have
it.
to thank him when he comes by for his interview, and again, you know, we got to remember to tell people, comment, you know, give suggestions, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff.
If you want to subscribe to this madness. Also, we talked about it in our commercial. Tuesdays is when we are dropping the podcast episodes now. So be on the lookout on Tuesdays for the people that watch. Obviously, I will send out reminders on my Facebook page and stuff like that, but we needed a little bit more time to get things out, and we wanted to add a little bit more creativity to it. So looking out for our podcast episodes to drop on Tuesdays from now on. So
am
you
I
ready?
cleaned up enough here?
Yeah, you're doing fine, I think.
I hope I don't drip. If I drip, we'll have to do another take.
I guess so. Oh, all right. Let's get into it.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. I'm Hudson. That's my dad, Todd. And today we're going to talk about all things voiceover and probably a little bit more. So today we've got your Todd's tips, do's and don'ts. We've got second half of the Tyler Boss interview. And then
Voiceover talent.
Voiceover
extraordinary.
talent. Yep, sorry. Make sure.
No, that's fine.
Anyway, we've got that, and then we've also got our couch potatoes coming. John and Drew will be here. I don't exactly know if we're going to a state, if we're doing this day in history, maybe we're doing both. Who knows? I guess we'll find out when Drew shows up. So what you do is start us off with the Todd's tips.
So I think this is our third in the series of my do's and don'ts. And they're just things that I do and I don't do in my voiceover career, my business, my voiceover business. And again, this is my business. I run it for me. I don't run it for you. If you're a voiceover talent, you have to do your business the way you want to do it. And, your business is none of my business. So what I do is I just give general tips and what I do. And if they work for you, great. If you want to do it a different way, have at it. But what I do every single time is give you some caveats as far as, and Demond produces our show. Demond, just put those here again so that people can read these, because I don't want them to think that everybody's situation is exactly the same. We talk about that a lot, that your situation is different than mine. You're 1.5 years in. I'm almost 13. I'm starting my 13th year coming up August 1st. And so there's just differences. It's a different industry in some ways than it was 12, 13 years ago. So you have to take that into consideration when I give you these do's and don'ts. Nevertheless, it is something to ponder. And so you've seen the caveats there that Demond put on the screen. And now here's the thing that I think about when it comes to conferences, meetups, like local meetups and such, and clinics, whether coaching clinics or voiceover clinics. I know they have some all over the place. There are very famous ones called, I think it's VO Atlanta and some of those. And fine, whatever. But I don't do conferences, meetups, and clinics. I'm not against other people doing it at all. Honestly, sometimes I wonder why they do it. I just wonder, because I look at the speakers, fine, great. I look at, the breakout sessions, fine, great. I look at what they're trying to accomplish, getting together and connecting with other voiceover talent, fine, great. But for me, I just don't do that. I've heard, VO people say how wonderful they are. And maybe they are. I've never been to one, so I'm not judging
Can't
them.
knock it until you've tried it.
Yeah, exactly. But I hear, what they get from it. I hear, what happens there and what they're excited about. And I go, well, for me, I'm really not that kind of a learner. Not that I couldn't learn something from them, but I do pretty well by watching, other people, watching their styles, listening to what they do business-wise. And then I'm able to take that information and then apply that to my business and my voiceover life. Does that make sense? And I don't even know, honestly, I'm not sure, Hudson, exactly where you're at on that scale. I mean, maybe you would be the type of person that would enjoy going there. You're maybe a little more outgoing than I am. And maybe you would enjoy traveling somewhere, getting out and seeing some scenery, going to a different place. And then, being with some other voiceover talent, maybe meeting some agents, some producers and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be exactly for the right purpose. I think I would do it to meet people and stuff like that. And obviously that's good and everything like that. But I don't think I would be doing it in one sense to further my business, because I've got all the resources I need right here. And that's not, like you said, that's not to, jump on those people and say, oh, you're wasting your time or anything like that. I have no idea. It'd be interesting for me to go and meet some of the people and stuff like that and talk to them and get to know them. But it wouldn't probably most likely be for my business's purpose. It wouldn't be to further my business, because I don't know exactly what are other voiceover talents, my competition, going to be giving me, And it's not like we're in competition. Like I don't want to talk to you. I don't, you're my competition.
Yeah. It's not mean spirited.
No, it's just, are you going to be sending me jobs and stuff like that?
That's
so
what you're
why
looking
would,
for.
exactly. So what am I doing there other than just to meet people and stuff like that? And that sounds kind of fun to me, to meet people and stuff like that. But
some people say that the voiceover industry is different than other industries. There's competition, yes, but yet there's quite a bit of give and take. There's people that have been in it a long time, and they are willing to share their expertise. And that would be some, reason to go. I might be more willing to give my expertise in a Zoom meeting or a phone call and expect that back from somebody else. So again, going there, getting out of your studio, having a good time, eating some food, being with some people that are, maybe struggling, or hearing their success stories, their failures, those types of things. I can understand where that would be something that some people would enjoy. For me, for me, connecting with other voiceover talent in that type of a situation, I don't really need that. And I don't need that kind of encouragement. Some people maybe do, and that's fine. Again, some people, as I mentioned, some people want an excuse to get out and travel. And so why not travel and, go to a voiceover conference and learn a few things? So for me, I'm old. I like home. I like staying home. I like my routine. And in all honesty, the way I've built my business, I'm, at least at this point, very busy.
Yeah.
And so for me to leave for a week, I do that right now once a year, and we travel as a family
and
down to Florida.
You just started doing that 3 years ago.
Yep.
It hasn't even been a long time. So we haven't gone on large vacations much.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't have stuff to learn. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to connect with people. I'm fine with that. It's just that at this point in my business, it would cost me a lot of money to go. It's just like, in some ways, it's just like when people say, hey, why don't you travel down to Chicago? You'll get some big work there, with agents and stuff like, well, that'd take me all day. Well, right now I'm making $1,200 a day. So it would have to be at least $1,200 job. Well, it can be.
You got to drive, you got to pay for all sorts of different things that would be taken away from that.
And I would have a boatload of work when I get back. Yeah. So anyway, that's, again, my business model, my thinking as far as clinics and voiceover, things, meetups and different stuff like that. Here's one other quick thing. I know there's meetups. That's kind of a group thing, kind of an organized thing. I know Chris Butera talked about that, but he lives in Boston.
Yeah.
And other people that live in New York and LA and Chicago and even Dallas are big cities, maybe, but I'd have to travel to Madison, and I don't even know if there's a voiceover meetup there. You know what I mean by that?
Yep.
Maybe that's more, again, a regional or a location thing. So,
well, it might not be so, how do you say this? It might not be for you, because you'd be more on the coaching side if you were to do something. Like you said, you don't have to go there to get all sorts of, encouragement and stuff. You know what I mean? That might be something that I would want to go to because I'm newer to stuff, but because I have you, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because I've got plenty of resources here. Anyway.
So again, it's a little bit, a lot of it. It's a lot of it. What's best for you? When I give you these do's and don'ts, it's not you can't do that. That's a dumb idea. It's just more of just think a little bit. And the crowd sometimes will take you places, and then somebody will stand there and say, well, I don't go to these types of things. And this is why I don't. And so don't just fall into that either way. Don't let me say you shouldn't do it. And then you say, oh, I can't do that because Todd says I shouldn't do that. That's not my point. I just tell you what I do and what I don't do and why.
Yeah, good.
Hi, I'm Tyler Boss, and I'll be featured as a guest on the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. I can't wait. Come check out my interview. I'll see you there.
All right. Should we do our numbers? John, how about we start with VOMP?
Okay.
See how we did this week.
Yeah, so good week. We had 47 warm responses, 10 auditions.
47 warm responses.
Yep.
Wow.
10 auditions.
10 auditions.
Yep.
Nice.
And 5 jobs. So Greg Campbell got 2. Francisco got 1. Tyler Boss got 1. And Bill DeWees.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
Nice. And those are the ones that are reported. Yep. Again, you send out a reminder on Thursday or Friday just asking people to get back with you. And we know people are busy. It's not a guilt trip that people get back with us. But it's nice. And one of the reasons we want to know is because number one is we want to encourage people. This works.
Yep.
Because sometimes when you're by yourself and you're sending out emails or having somebody send out emails, or maybe you're doing a hybrid approach where you're sending some more targeted and we're sending, then it can kind of feel like, well, I haven't had a job for a couple of weeks, or maybe I didn't get a warm reply this week. And it's always nice to hear that, it's working for other people. Yeah, it'd be nice if it worked for that specific person that's having that issue. It's always fun to hear somebody else, part of our group, is getting a job. It's really exciting when I get a job.
Yeah.
That's always the most exciting,
Yeah.
So any thoughts, anything else that
you beat me to the punch there on that. Just
Sorry.
why we do it. It also keeps our database for you specifically cleaned up, make sure that we're not contacting those people, because there are times where we don't mean to get our wires crossed, if you will, but we will send out something and they're like, well, I already worked with you, kind of thing. And it's your initial email basically saying, I'd like to work with you, but it's like, well, I already work with you. And so we want to make sure that we lessen those chances that we get in front of somebody that you're already working with. And that can happen sometimes. Some people have reported that they're getting some jobs here and there that they don't know how they've gotten the job. And we're not necessarily trying to take credit. We just want to make sure, we like to encourage people that it's working. And we do know that people they might lose your email or remember your name, or there might be some way that they remember you and then they contact you on your website, and it might be something that was from an original email that you did with the efforts that we're doing for the direct email marketing. But we just also want to make sure that database, like I said, is clean. So
it benefits VO Marketing Pro, our company.
Correct.
But forgot what I was going to say. Oh, with Greg, for instance, Greg has been with us. He's been one of the longest with us, right?
Correct.
And it benefits us to say it's a long haul and it's a numbers game. But that is just the truth.
Correct.
So, yes, that's what makes VO Marketing Pro money. We'd be lying if it didn't, for you to continue to stay with us. But even if you decided not to, and there have been some that have decided not to for some reason or another, and we just say, well, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And guess what? Even when they leave from time to time, we have warm replies still coming, warm responses coming in for them.
Yep.
Or they're telling us later on, hey, I got a warm response, or I got a job.
Yep.
Those emails are out there, like we say, and that's why it's a numbers game and it's a long haul. And we see that those people that pour the most in and stay the longest are the ones that benefit. It's just the truth, whether you do it or whether we do it for you or not.
Yep.
Also,
and what we found, to a couple examples where they're not the same exact, but just how direct email marketing works. One, we had a guy who left about a year or so ago. He just was busy in other areas of his VO marketing his VO career, and he just wanted to focus on those, which is great. He's successful off there, and that's what we like to see. That being said, last night we get an email saying, "Hey, do you want to audition for this job, or what would you?" It's either an audition or what do you charge for this? And he's been gone for a year, and so we forwarded that on to him, and that's an opportunity that he has. And then I did post it on our Facebook. We had one lady who's with us, but also purchased the DIY videos. And she, in the past couple weeks, from her marketing efforts, from watching those videos, has booked a few jobs.
Nice.
And we also had another guy who just purchased the DIY videos, who reported that he had a job this week as well.
So if you have more time than money,
correct,
then it's good to get the DIY videos so you can learn how to do it yourself, because you have more time than money, and do it yourself. Don't pay us to do it.
No.
But if you get to that point where you have more money than time, that's where we come in.
Yeah.
And so
those videos are well worth it. I mean, Andy would admit that he's not the most exciting person, but what he gives you is great, and for the value, or it's great value for what you're paying for. And even if you just have some time on the side and you just want to learn how to do it along with VOMP, we always preach the hybrid approach. And so those are a great way to just make sure you're organized when you're doing that.
Yeah. Step by step.
Step by step.
It's I always tell people, it's not highly entertaining. It's highly educational.
Yep.
It really is. It's a step-by-step, everything he does for me. And yeah.
Yeah, we're willing to work with price too if that becomes an issue. We just believe they're a valuable thing to purchase.
Very good. Well, that was a good week. Great. Fantastic. People hang in there. We'll have weeks like that a lot.
Yeah.
We can't promise it next week.
No.
You never know.
No, you can't.
Somebody riding by on their motorcycle. All right, I guess I'll go ahead. This week I had 4 warm replies. I had 1 audition, which was part of your 10, I think, 10 auditions.
Nope, we don't. Well, we don't consider it a part of. We don't.
But I
ever
told you
consider
guys
yours.
about it, so you guys posted it at least.
True, but we don't consider
you
it in the
didn't
numbers
count it.
here.
Okay.
So
You didn't count that. All right. Nope. I didn't have any new clients, but I did have 2 clients from my email marketing efforts. One of them was, and I commented on your guys' post on Facebook. I worked with them a year and 2 months ago, and they were one of my first clients. We did a session, and then I stayed in front of them probably 5 different times, and I don't even know if they replied to any of my recontacting emails, but then just the other day, they got a hold of me and they wanted another session for another explainer video with them. So I did a session with them, $300. And then I had pickups from another client that I've worked with multiple times. A lot of their stuff is Microsoft. So $60 for the pickups. And then I had 3 jobs on Fiverr, totaling $80 a piece, what I brought home. So in total, $600
nice
and 4 cents.
Moving on up, and
I
you know
hope so.
those return clients. I when you posted in the Facebook, I posted too. Gold, returning clients equals gold, because you don't have to market for them. They're out there, and yeah, you might have to remind them from time to time, but they like you. They came to you originally. Now they're coming back. That's a very, very good sign.
Well, and the way that I recontacted them was either sending out of office notices, my new demos and stuff like that, and just doing stuff like that, at least for right now, because I update my demos fairly regularly. Yeah. So because I'm changing, my voiceover is changing,
getting better all the time.
Yeah.
And you're proving that you're getting better, your skill set's getting better, and you're proving by just hanging in there that here you go, a year and 2 months later, you get a return client. Now you have a YouTube Fiverr client that uses you at least once or twice a week.
I think I've had him for 3 weeks now, and he's used me at least 3 times a week. So that's huge for me, and it really helps out my Fiverr gig.
Yeah,
I was talking about my impressions. They're starting to finally go up again. I at one point I had like 1,500, and then all of a sudden I had a canceled order, and they went down to like 200.
Yeah.
And it was like just quicksand. I couldn't get out of it. So finally, hopefully, if I keep doing it right and getting good reviews and stuff, it'll keep going up. So,
it's going to sound like when I do my numbers that I had a fairly good week. It's over $6,200, but it was really a slow week because I did that national commercial that I still can't say a whole lot about because it's going to be this fall. But 2,000 of that was being held back. It was on voices.com. It was being held back until they okayed it. And it's been 2 months. And so I did the sessions, a couple of sessions, and they paid me $200 for each one. Well, now they're paying me the 2,000. And so I'm sticking that into this week. So it's really a $4,200.
Yeah.
And so just one thing I was thinking about, back in medieval times, they would take hunting parties they'd hire men to go out with them. And what those men would do is they'd take sticks and they'd beat bushes to get the game to jump up and run out, and then they would, shoot them. That thus
medieval times, they'd shoot them with guns?
Well, they'd shoot them with arrows or sticks or whatever. And the point being is that's beating the bushes.
Sorry.
You took away my fire. I was telling a big story with a lead up, and you just took it right away from me.
You said medieval times, were they shooting cannons at those things, just obliterating all of it?
Slingshots or something like that.
I got you.
Anyway, that's where that comes from, beating the bushes. And so I've been beating the bushes lately. John's been helping me out. And you've been beating the bushes, and you keep beating the bushes. And that's what we've been kind of telling people with the economic times, with what's going on in the world, the nation, gas prices, inflation, all of these things. A lot of people are down. And I'm lower than I typically am. I don't know if it's just a little bit of a downturn that would have been there anyway, but I'm kind of attributing it to the fact of what's going on. So I'm just going to have to be more aggressive, more
Double down.
keeping you up, John.
I don't think the camera's on me right now, so I should be good. I'm trying not to.
Come on, put it on John on that moment.
Make sure you see John yawning when his
my
dad's talking. But I've been beating the bushes, and here's 3 ways. Actually, I'm going to give you 3 ways, and I'm going to save the 4th one. John's gone back, and he's going to continue to go back to past Fiverr clients that haven't used us for a while. You can do that on Fiverr if you're careful, and maybe sometime you'll have to talk about that, what that would mean. But you can go back and recontact them and say, hey, it's been a while, just like you would direct email marketing. I'm going back to direct email marketing. Mom's doing that for me, past clients. I'm doing more voices.com auditions because I have about a 20-to-1 win rate. And so I just have to keep working hard at getting auditions out there. By the way, I'm down Fiverr-wise this year, but what is it? I've got it here. I'm $1,200 short of what I made all last year on voices.com. Right now I'm
Oh, wow.
So
you're way ahead there.
Yeah. So I should, if I keep working it, I should be well ahead on my voices.com. And see, that's my point. Diversify. And then if one kind of goes down a bit,
The other one picks it
push
up.
that other one and look for ways to beat the bushes. So, and then the last one is a method that Johnny and I are trying for myself and another gentleman who's part of our personal assistants group for VO Marketing Pro. And it's another way to beat the bushes. And we'll maybe talk about that. We'll see how that goes. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Yep.
That secret
Yeah.
sauce. And no, it's just another way to go out and direct email market, but we're looking into that. And we'll tell you how that goes. So this week for me, I had 2 auditions, 3 warm responses, and 1 new client. And that's not part of your list or
Bomb's list or my list.
or your list. My platforms were $1,176. My direct email marketing was $5,047.05. That was with that $2,000 dumped in there. So my total $6,223.05. $6,223.05 for my week in voiceover.
Whoa. Sorry.
Boy, you
It's
guys,
contagious.
we're
I
gonna
didn't get my afternoon nap
yeah,
in, I guess.
there you go. Didn't know numbers could be so boring.
Yeah.
They are kind of sometimes, but hopefully some of the stuff
I'm just
that
so
we share
tired
can
from
be.
all the work I did this week.
Yeah, right.
All right. Those are our numbers for this week. Next up, we've got the second part of the interview with Tyler Boss. Hey, everybody. Mom's here. What do you got? Mom caught a big one. We're at a local pond, but we won't tell you where it's at because we don't want you to steal our fishing spot. So you are watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Bye.
Welcome back to the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. We are going to play our second part of our Tyler Boss interview. He's a voiceover artist. He's a father. He plays baseball in a older men's league. And so we're going to play his second part of his interview right now.
Yeah. So the question I had, it might be more of a statement. So my dad preaches because he's been doing it for what you're doing 13 years now. And I'm like a year and 3 months in.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there's this idea that voiceover is this like glitz and glamour. Like there's obviously people that are really like that do voiceovers that are actors, stuff like that. But then there's people that like get into it thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. You know, I'm just going to whatever. And they don't put the work in. And it sounds like I don't know how to say this. Your work ethic is similar to my dad's. I'm not going to say it's the same because I don't know you that well. And anyway, it seems like you had the idea that I'm just going to get down and get dirty with my marketing, get down and get dirty with just doing everything I can. And you didn't care kind of what you looked like, stuff like that. I think some people get caught up in that and just maybe just what maybe you could speak to that just a little bit. And maybe you already did a little bit, but that's just interesting to me because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of people like you, like my dad, maybe like Bill DeWees, maybe a couple others that are willing to just work their tail off. And it's not real shiny.
No. Okay. So you're always one client away from having that almost life-changing repeat income. And so you're just one client, one connection, one opportunity away from that client that's going to be like the Hyundai people are beyond six figures from when they started hiring me for these little courses and then building me up to the longer ones. So I switched gears when I was focusing on the $2,000, $5,000 jobs. And I was looking at the project and it was like 150 auditions. Like that's winning the lottery now. Like I might win one or two a year on those just because everybody's doing it. And half of those agencies are also posting it to Voice 123 and Badalgo and all the other sites. And by the way, they've sent it out to all the voiceover agents, and they've sent it to that. So there could be a couple thousand auditions for it.
Right.
So I switched that when I started looking at the e-learning, the long form auditions and seeing 20, 25, there's my chance. This is a $2,000 job. It might take me an hour and a half to do. That's $2,000. And so I started chasing after those. And when I realized once I got hired for that first e-learning gig, and 2 weeks later, the same person came back, hey, I got 3 more scripts. And I'm like, that's like, wait, hey, $6,000. And I worked 3 hours and I was chasing all the other commercial jobs. So the cool thing about this is like Todd and I can wake up every morning and know this is our income for the day already there. And so all the other stuff that comes in is just gravy, it's just whipped cream on top or whatever it is. That's how you build a business. If you like the glitz and glamour and you like your full-time job, or you don't want to make this your full-time gig, then yeah, you can just chase after commercials and you might win a couple. And that'll be fun. But you're going to be chasing a lot, like for a long, it might be grueling. And so if you want to do that, that's fine. But man, I'm telling, like 99% of voiceover work is behind the scenes work. And as long as you're okay with that, you're going to do really well. It's like the best business you can build. When you look at the numbers, just purely speaking, low overhead, there's dozens of different genres you can pick and set your own hours. You can go to your kid's baseball game at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, come back and do a couple more gigs. I mean, it's a fascinating business to be a part of. But yeah, I stopped like in 2017. I'm like, I don't care what I look like. This is what I'm doing. I want a chance to.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the things, Tyler, that's helped me, I was in radio for 30 years. The most I made per hour getting up at 3:15 in the morning was $15 an hour. And so to this day, somebody says, I'll pay you $100 for this commercial. It takes me 10 minutes to bang that out. It's like, of course I'm going to do that. Where some voiceover talent say, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to open my mic until I can make $250, which is whatever. That's fine. If they want to do that, maybe they have different circumstances. For me, it's like, I used to make $15 an hour. Now I can go here and I can make $400 an hour doing $100 4 times. And so it's just not, it's like, I don't even think about it. I just do it. Give me the $100. I don't care. So yeah, I get that. And there's got to be, here's the other thing. That's a really important part about being a business person too. Just what you outlined, that hunger, that ability to build your business from the ground floor and really have a a baseline of income, because that's where a lot of people, they get 7 jobs a month, and they're high end jobs. They're working for big names, but their income is like this every day.
Oh,
and so by the end of the month, they're making $12,000 a month, maybe, or $7,000 a month, where, I'm trying to make $25,000 to $35,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that's, but if you have that income that's there all the time from repeat clients and long form, then you all of a sudden you get a few days where you make, $2,500 or $3,500 in a day, and it's like take off, so anyway, I didn't want to steal your thunder if you had something else to say, or Hudson, maybe you had a follow-up question.
I just think, isn't it funny? I mean, I haven't worked like really tough jobs, but I worked as an organic produce farmer for 5 summers, like in high school, when I was in college. And then I worked as a personal trainer for 3 years. And it's just amazing. I come in here and I don't have like a lot of work, but I'm trying to build, roll that boulder up the hill. And I still find it just ridiculous that, I run my own business and I sit in here and I talk. Like, I just talk. And I know you have to learn how to use your voice and different, like you were saying earlier, different deliveries and, being chill and all sorts of other things. But it's just like, it's just weird. It doesn't feel like work, to me at least. And I know I haven't been real busy yet. So maybe when I start sweating, like you said you were, I'll be like, it's a little bit more like work. But
well, I had a yesterday. I was driving home from the baseball game, and I thought, I can't wait to go to work tomorrow. Isn't that strange? Like, I've never in my life on a Sunday evening said, cool, I can't wait till tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
I get to go back to work.
Yeah.
I get to.
That's unusual for many people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't stress this enough when people are expressing an interest. And I had a guy who actually recognized my name from the radio station, and he saw my car. I was getting like an Ethernet cable or something, and he's like, "Oh, Tyler Boss, you were starred. You do voiceovers? I've always thought about doing that." That excites me because I get to say to that person, like, "You can do that. You honestly can." And he goes, "I've been studying and I've been looking at it, and I've thought about it a lot, but I'm just scared." Mm-hmm. And I can speak to that person about, okay. And he even had a microphone and an audio interview. He's got a 2i2, what's the name of it just escapes me. Focusrite. So he's got the right stuff. And I'm like, just get in your closet and start talking and send me the audio, and I'll coach you. I don't care. Like, I want you to do this because this is freeing.
Yeah.
This is the freeing job I've ever had. I made $36,000 a year working full time at a radio station, and I did not get overtime. We got comp time. So if you worked at an event for 8 hours on a Saturday, you could take that 8 hours off sometime. But I made $36,000, I think, January, and then maybe the couple of weeks into February. And I had one job, which was an AI job, an artificial intelligence type job, for $30,000, and that was just to start the year. And I'm like, well, I think right thing.
Yeah. Hey, let's do this. Maybe we could take a little break right now. Would you be able to come back for just like 15 minutes, or are you up against, I'm sure you got work to do. But can we take a little break here and have you come back? Because I wanted to ask a couple of specific questions about, where you gain your income. You've talked a little bit about e-learning and stuff like that, but I wanted to talk about the platforms you're on, and we won't steal a lot of your time. Is that possible? If it's not, please be honest, because we can cut it off and have you come back again sometime.
It is possible. I did a ton of stuff this morning, and I got quite a bit done. And so, yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
So how about if we do this, we take a little break and then we'll come back with Tyler Boss. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. So here's what we'll do, Tyler, because we don't have the paid version of Zoom. I'll send you another invite, and then we'll get back on here. We'll only go for 15 minutes here, because I just wanted to ask. It's very interesting. And I'd like to ask a few questions and have you speak to some of the platforms you're on and things like that. So when we come back, can we do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Be waiting, both of you, for another invite. Bye.
Sounds good.
And a half. Okay, he's here.
Yeah, you can go ahead and finish that if you want, though.
About a year and a half took me to actually say, okay, I'll give it a try, but
Sure.
It's been great. And so when you said be a part of the podcast, that's why I jumped at it. Like, I think I answered in 30 seconds. Yes. When?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we had gotten busy, and I have a list of, I've reached out to a fair amount of the people that are in VO Marketing Pro, because we thought we'd have at least some people to interview, because we wanted to get to know them a little bit better. Just because you can now with this, instead of having to go and meet them, we would like to do that at some point. We have some times that we'd like to schedule to meet people in person. But that's kind of what we started out with, and we got kind of busy and had some people, and then you messaged me back, which I was surprised that anybody would even want to be on our podcast. And so you messaged me and you were like, hey, are we still on for the podcast? And I was like, oh yeah, we are. Like, wonderful. Yeah. Tyler wants to be part of it. So I really appreciate that. I was glad that you were interested enough to get back a hold of me. I planned on getting a hold of you again at some point, but
yeah,
I just figured you were probably like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come on this podcast, whatever, la-di-da. So
no, I love talking about this stuff, because I know how it's so cool. And most of the time I'll talk about what I do to people and their eyes start to glaze over. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, you just have to say, yeah, I sit in a box, I talk, and I sweat all day. Like, that's what I do.
And make tons of money.
Yeah.
Make you know what?
Yeah.
Wiping the sweat off with your dollar bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just so you know, Tyler, I mean, on the original father-son voiceover podcast, we have tens and tens of viewers.
We have 100 at least.
Yeah.
Give us some credit,
you'll
Dad.
be. Oh yeah, we're big and growing. I mean, and with this interview, it's going to put us right over the top.
Oh.
You get
maybe 102.
You get huge names like Tyler. Well, we could at least have your wife and 5 children. That'll put us into 105 or 107. Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about when you filled out our little form that we send to people, just to kind of get to know them a little bit and kind of see where they're coming from. I think you mentioned that let me read it here. You do Upwork, Voice Machine, Bidalgo, Voquent, Voices.com. Where you've already talked about like Hyundai and a few of these, the Abide and a few things like that being kind of the baseline of a fairly quite large income. So is this a lot of this, the other filler stuff that you do? And I don't see Fiverr on this. Do you not work on Fiverr?
Correct. Well, I kind of chose Upwork when I was picking between the two, and I did a gig for Fiverr, and I got it all set up, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And so I didn't get anything going. But with Upwork, I was able to kind of look at jobs and stuff and just go, oh, I kind of want to do that, or I kind of want to do that. And so I liked that aspect of it better. And I felt like I did better when I could send samples and offer to read something as a sample. And I started picking up more jobs that way. So I just canceled my Fiverr, and I haven't done it. And I don't think I have time at this point to really focus on it too much. So rather than just setting it up and letting it sit there and maybe I'll get a few trickle in, I just thought, I'll just skip Fiverr, and just stick with Upwork. But, and that's interesting. What I have with my residual kind of ongoing clients, it's right in the vicinity of 10,000 a month. I just know these are my staples and they're going to be there. And I even have a couple of clients that it's like these audiobook things where I can just jump on and do one if I don't have anything else to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And those are
sure.
the types of clients too that I have that I've found. And that was from Upwork. And so it's just fascinating. So voices.com, I pick maybe 1 or 2 auditions a day. Well, not even a day. It's kind of more weekly now. I don't, because I do get so many auditions come in your inbox that you just have to weed them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I focus on big commercial jobs on that platform. And if anything says the words ongoing, I jump at that one. For some reason, they are the least popular. And, you look at the commercial, 200 auditions, you go to the ongoing YouTube narration and it's $200 a pop. And there's 15 people going for that. What are you doing? Because it's $200.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the last one I did was 3 episodes a week. That's $600 a week.
Yeah.
So I jump at those, and anything that says e-learning, of course, because those are the clients. If they like you, they don't want to keep looking for a voice.
Right.
A commercial client will pick you. You do one, they probably will pick somebody else the next time.
Yeah, they're looking for the next shiny, new thing. That's just the way it is. But e-learning, they want somebody in their system. They want somebody they know.
Yes.
They want someone relatable, both, on, as far as microphone, but also someone they can, is going to be responsive and communicative and stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah. So those platforms, and Voice Machine is new. It's very UK based, or I'm actually not sure where he is, but it's Europe based, and so is Voquent. So I don't get a whole lot of action there. I'm just there just in case, and just in case it goes. I just got a job from Voice Machine 3 weeks ago, and that was my first one there. And I think they are a little better than Voquent when it comes to focusing. When they get a good talent, they really help to try to drive traffic to you. Voquent's just a platform. You're there. Maybe somebody will find you. But Voice Machine, the guy tends to really try to help and drive traffic to the people that are doing well. And so that's what I've liked about him. And Upwork is just running in the background all the time. And today I got 3 jobs from clients that I'm like in the middle of doing my real estate stuff, and I'll get a message that pops in the right corner and it says, "Can you do this 3-minute thing?" And I'm like, I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
And the 3-minute thing's $150.
Yeah.
And I got another one for 125.
Yeah.
And I got a pickup that actually gave me a tip for $20, and it took me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's why you get on those platforms, because as soon as I turn my mic off of one thing, I just grab the script, turn it on, and go.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes later, I just made another 150. I mean, it's crazy.
The nice thing about having a baseline of work like you have is see if this is right for you, Tyler. It makes you kind of a calm business person, because because here's what I meet. I meet a lot of people who are frantic. They're flailing. They want to get started, and they're trying to, get in commercial work or character work or all sorts of stuff like that. And that's fine again. But the point is I've built my business with this baseline of income. You have too. And what that allows you to do then, because it's there, it kind of calms you down, because your income is steady, and then you're able to make good business decisions and pick. Like, I'm on Fiverr. Well, I made $113,000 on Fiverr last year. Well, I'm not on Upwork, but Hudson's doing he's doing some checking for me, because I don't have the time. He has the time, so we're having him investigate it and figure it out a little bit more, and hopefully maybe if I need it, I'll jump on there and see if he can help me with that. But there's a way to be able to say, well, I want to do this many voices.com auditions, and these are the kind I'm going to do, and then I'm going to take this kind of work, or I'm going to be able to do this, and you're just able to just kind of calmly, carefully choose those types of things rather than I've got to work, and you're just flailing. And so that's what I appreciated and about what you've said so far. I really appreciate that. That's such good advice and such a good strategy.
Music to your ears, huh?
Yep. Yeah, it is. Not that you need to hear my approval, but that's just really, it's such a wonderful strategy. And you're so young. I mean, you think, wow, I'm 62 years old. And you're turning it around like that at 36. Got a lot of years, if you stay healthy and such, to be able to do this.
Yeah. I was listening to some, what was it, like a retirement, I get retirement commercials and things like that, where people are just frantic about their income, and they're just reliant on what the market is doing all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to have that luxury of not, I don't have a retirement age. Like, you can do this for as long as you can talk. You can do this. And well, you have to be able to see and stuff like that. But as long as you have the ability, you can just do it forever. I mean, people play golf up until their 80s and 90s. And that's something, this is like one of those things that you can do and continually make a really good income, and just do it for as long as you live.
Yep.
I plan like 85. I could just be in here doing AARP e-learning modules.
Yeah. And maybe you'll be the type of person that my exit strategy is that, in the next few years, I'd like to just unload a lot of my poorer paying clients, and then just work with the ones that I'm really comfortable with. They love me. I like working with them. They pay well. And I work a couple, 3 hours a day at the most, make, $700, $800, $900. And, then I get to do what I want to do. So, I mean, there's that luxury too, as you build your client base and stuff like that. So, I mean, you've got so many years to be able to do that. And it's wonderful. I'm very, very happy for you. I don't want to, we've gone our 15 extra minutes. So maybe what we'll do is end here, but maybe you have something that you're dying to say, or some more information that you want to pass on. I don't want to cut you off, just, but feel free. If there isn't, that's fine. We can end. But if there's something that you'd like to say or communicate, have at it.
Okay. It's basically I don't know. Do you guys know the kind of the type of listener that's here right now that you have, that you're kind of targeting? Is it people that are already in the business, or maybe some newbies? Because talking to newbies and people who want to, and maybe are scared or nervous about it, I just think, okay, just find a quiet space, get a decent enough microphone and a computer, and just start doing it. Like, just start now. Just start doing it. Mm-hmm. I can't encourage that enough. If you have, because I was just talking to a guy 2 weeks ago. He has the desire. He wants to do it. My brother is in the process of learning how to do this stuff. I mean, he sees it and he's like, can I do it? You think I can do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a voice. You can read. Let's just do something. So I told him, just take a book, turn on your iPhone, read it, send it to me. I will critique it and help you out. Like, I want to get you to go. I want to get you to do this. And so I just want people to realize that this is legit. We're not just blowing smoke. We've put in the effort, the hard work. And if you do that, if you're willing to do that, I built a business working 4 extra hours a night after my kids went to bed. And from 16 through 2019, I went from $0 to 90,000, working 4 extra hours a night. It's possible. You can do it in less time, or it might take you a little bit more, but stick with it and just get going. Just get started. Mm-hmm. This is what an amazing business opportunity we have.
And may I ask you, and you can tell me we can edit this out, Tyler, but may I ask you what you're halfway through, what's your projected income for 2022? Any idea?
I do. Now I had a huge gig right to kick off the year. That was 30 grand. So that put me a good head start.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. So I'm opening up my QuickBooks right now. All right. So I'm at 160. I have 15,000 in unpaid invoices. And some of those are brand new. So, it happens.
He's laughing.
Yeah, I know.
I've barely made that much in my career so far, and he's laughing at it.
Come on, pay me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So, so whatever that is, that's 175, and we're halfway through July.
So you'll be up around 350 to 400,000 again, probably.
Yeah, that's the projection.
Wow.
I made 285 last year. And so I'm projected right around 325, 350 ish. I think it'll taper off because that 30,000 really,
Oh yeah, sure.
really made it just jump through the roof.
Yeah, but can you imagine $300,000 when you were making 36,000? That's 10 times more money. 10 times more.
I
right?
never
10 times.
ever in my life would have thought.
Yeah.
And like, I'll talk to my brother about it, and he's just like, what do you do? I mean, how do you do this stuff?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
like,
surreal.
I don't know. It is surreal.
Yeah.
And
It's surreal.
I'm sure you think the same way. Every once in a while, I just go, what?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. It
But
is.
I
It's
love-
surreal.
I love what I do. It comes out and it shows when I get a script. I get excited, and that's why clients come back. They can hear it. You actually can hear that. I'm not dreading what I do. I think when people get burnt out, you can start to hear that in their voice, even though they're acting or they can be even a good actor. You can still hear that there's something there it's not clicking. They're just kind of going through the motions. And I actually hear it in imaging voices a lot where they're just reading scripts. I'm like, there's no life in this guy. Why do you keep hiring him to do your radio imaging? It makes no sense. And even TV imaging, you can hear it. Like they're bored or they're not in it. They're just flipping through scripts. So, man, I never would have thought 300,000. And it's just fascinating and amazing. And all glory to God. And I'm just having the time of my life right now. So let's just keep rolling.
Well, thanks so much. And thanks for your overtime work for us, because I know your time is valuable. I really do. And that can sound somewhat, trite and cliche-ish, but it is. I mean, when you're making the kind of money you are, then spending the time with us, we really appreciate the time. We really appreciate your friendship with VO Marketing Pro, and we have plans and stuff that we want to, keep working with you. And so we'll keep doing our best on our end, but stay in touch. We'll try to stay in touch, and who knows, maybe we'll have the Tyler Boss show again on the
let's do
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, same time.
Well, I think you've got enough stuff in your mind that and the way you're doing things that I'd like to come back and hear, other things, because you've given me some good things to think about, and Hudson, I'm sure too. So thank you. Appreciate your time.
I'm having so much fun, and I appreciate your partnership as well. Just being able to have somebody else who has the list, who has the things, and can market to the right people and get in touch with the right people. I struggled for a long time just going, who do I send a demo to? So just being able to have you guys doing it every month takes a load off of me, and I can just focus on the stuff that I love to do. So thank you so much as well. But really appreciate the time. I've had a blast today. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler, very much.
I was thinking when we had Tyler on this past week, he reminds me, not in personality or anything like that, of you, but he reminds me of you in the mindset that he has towards voiceover. He seems like a guy that just it's not, as we talked about, it's not the glitz and glamour of what voiceover people maybe think. I've got the same things I'm doing, during the day that I get every week or whatever it is. And he just plows through it because he's got to make a living for his family. Yeah. And he just keeps doing it. And that's what you do. You don't, you don't have this traveling schedule like you talked about in your Todd's tips. You don't have this searching for the real. Now, obviously, you want big jobs, but you're not going to different states and cities to try and get those things, and then you only get like 2 or 3 a month, and it's like, well, you do way better with just
I
filling
think
up your
Tyler's
schedule.
I think he's on to something there for the most part. Again, there are very talented people who will do like movie trailers and game voices, character voices, cartoon type things. And they can make a lot of money. Those people can make a lot of money, and more power to them. If you do high level commercial work, that's super. Maybe you only have to do 3 or 4 jobs, but most of us are plotters. Most of us are, kind of like ditch digging, or like I said in a long time ago video, we're VO surgeons, where we stand there all day long and kind of do plumbing, physical plumbing. And that's how he's built. I think he said, if I remember right, he said $3,200 that he makes a month in just those meditation things. Yeah. Every single morning, he just puts in the time before everybody gets up and just goes down there and does it. And you could say you can see he's delighted to do it. Yeah. He just can't believe it. And sometimes I have to pinch myself when I think about, I get to be paid to talk in my home, and I still get to be around the family, and we get to work together. Yep. And so good for Tyler. Yeah. And I was so glad that, we originally contacted him, and then he contacted us back and said, hey, I'd like to be on.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Tyler, thanks a lot. We appreciate you.
And we hope to have him back on. Yeah. I don't know if you were going to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. It'd be nice to touch base again with Tyler. And what we're doing right now is we're kind of mixing and matching our interviews with voiceover talent, because that's what we're all about, but then local people. And so we're going to have local people coming up on our podcast soon too.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have the couch potatoes and either this day in history or a state or both. Who knows? So come join us for that next.
Before we get started, I was just going to tell you about, I was down working out at the Mix It Up Fitness Center.
You're working up a sweat.
I mean, my workout is running and walking. So it's not like I'm lifting weights and stuff. But Scott, who's a real estate agent in the area and partner with Melissa, the 1855 coffee house, he was in there. Oh. That's twice now. And so, he's serious about working out. I mean, you can tell he's serious about it by the difference between my body and his body. And so anyway, he's working out. I don't want to bother him. I don't always know about fitness places.
Gym etiquette?
Yeah, I'm not, there's a lot of things I'm not. And the one thing I'm not is a gym workout fitness etiquette
aficionado.
Yeah. And so he's serious about working out. I don't want to get in his way, because he's working out and I'm working out, pretending kind of to work out. So anyway, I got done working out, and I just said hi to him, and he took out his little earbuds and said, "Hey, Todd, how you doing?" So we talked again about the podcast, and he'd like to come on. I think we'd like to have him first talk about the 1855 coffee house, and then maybe his real estate thing. Maybe it'll be in the same one, but it'll be sometime. And then he talked about another business right across the street that's, I don't know what it's going to be called. It's a tap house. They'll have food, but they'll have beer and wine, and that's right across the street from the old bank. So there's another business going to downtown. And he seems to be fairly serious about trying to get businesses down into the Mazo area and get it going again. So, and then just one other thing, then we had Cal Handel on. We'll have him on our podcast this next week. Local guy, played baseball with Hudson.
Yep.
And he represented his brother's
Handel,
handlebar
yeah, handlebar performance. Yep.
So anyway, that's just a little insight for what's coming up locally
Nice. Do
in
you
the
want
next
to
few weeks.
silence that so we don't get any interference?
Yeah, that is probably the only thing that I will have the entire
Interfering,
time.
yeah. All right.
I have almost no messages.
Well, we've got California this week for our 17th episode,
Yep.
the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. So, Drew, do you have anything else other than fun facts, stuff like that? Or no? What do you got?
We
Can
got
I say one more
California state stuff and then interesting facts. Yep, that's kind of what we have. There's a fair number of interesting facts, so I didn't want to get into the weird laws just because
All right.
we gotta protect that time. We really have to make sure that we're careful. We don't want to bleed over. And then we got a couple fun holidays. I'm sorry. We'll go ahead.
I'm
We'll
just
get you in here.
on the edge. Can I just say, can we either play? See, you had a baseball game yesterday against Muscadet, and it's William Ruland who was on our podcast. He's going to the Marines, and we took a video of him. Can we either play that like here and pause, or maybe some other time? You're the executive producer. What do you think?
We can do whatever. This is new to me, so we can put it here at any time. So
do we want to do
we
it
can
now?
play it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Do you want to set it up at all, or did I do a good enough
I
job?
think you set it up. Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. There it is. There you have it.
Before we play our national anthem, the Mazo Mustangs and our Mazomani fans want to take this opportunity to wish William Ruland, son of BJ and Leslie, good luck, as this is his last weekend playing for the team. William will be taking off his Stangs jersey and putting on a brand new uniform of the United States Marine Corps. All our best to you, William, and thanks for your service to America. William, tip your hat for us, and let's give him a big hand of applause.
Now we're
All
back.
right.
Back to California.
Thanks for letting me do that.
Yeah.
Well, we never started with California, so we're going to start with California. We didn't.
Dad had his own agenda I didn't know about.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All right. So again, we've got lots of different, state fact information here, like we've done before. Like the state flower is the California poppy, not to be confused with any other poppy. It's the Californias. It's their own. The state bird is the California quail, also known as the valley quail. Became the official state bird in 1931. It's a widely distributed and prized game bird. It is also known for its hardiness and adaptability. Things you could bring up at a cocktail party if you'd like to.
Maybe down at the new tap house.
Yeah,
when it's
true.
Yeah.
See, let me tell you a
Or
little bit
having
about the California quail. It's also known as the valley quail. Did you know that?
Because of
because
its
it's
hardiness and
adaptability.
adaptability.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a prize game bird. I mean, I've heard it's a prize game bird. That's what I've heard of.
Or if you were sitting at the 1855 coffee house,
Yep.
having some coffee,
Sipping
just
on
talking about nothing in
cappuccino
particular.
or-
Do you mind if I talk with you a little bit about the California
People
quail?
think you're really weird.
Yeah.
No, you can't talk to me about that because I don't care about that. That's probably what you'd get.
Do we have
Well,
quail?
I suppose if you'd be sitting at the same table, that they'd be curious about what you have to talk about. If they
Sure.
allowed you to sit down, you're going to want to talk about something.
The next time you came in, they wouldn't be sitting at the same table as you probably.
True.
Do we have quail around here? Or is that
We'll
more,
find out. We'll find out when Wisconsin
Western,
comes.
like
Prairie. I mean,
Prairie,
usually it's prairie. But I don't know.
we've got pheasants, and we've got turkey, and
What about
we've-
grouse? Do we have
I
grouse?
don't know. That's what
Anyway.
we should have asked Cal, because he's more of a hunter than we
Yeah,
are.
but remember he didn't get into the bird
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, that's
remember
right.
It's not the bird scene.
Okay.
he wasn't. All right, back to Drew.
The state tree is the redwood, which would make sense.
That makes sense.
They put two different things. There's a coast redwood, I guess, and a giant sequoia. They must both be of the redwood family.
Have you've seen those?
Yep.
I've seen them.
I haven't
Driven
been
through
out.
one,
I haven't been. We
because you
haven't
can
been out to
drive through
California.
one.
Here's Brandon and I. We have not been out to California.
No.
Yes.
I keep slipping here my
The
microphone.
the state motto, it's Eureka. It just actually it is Eureka. I'll pause there for a second. It's not it is Eureka. It's a Greek word. It has appeared on the state seal since 1849, and it means I have found it.
Gold.
The words were probably intended to refer to the discovery of gold in California.
What was the year of the gold rush? Do you have that information?
I don't have that information.
Because there's the 49ers, 1849ers, that's a football team, and that must have been right around that, the gold rush.
Yep.
So Eureka was coined in 1849, is that right?
No. The Eureka was by Aristotle, I think.
I'm sorry, but when did they start using it in California?
1849, he
The
said.
word Eureka?
Yeah, didn't you say something about 1849?
Yeah, you did.
I mean, it's been on the state seal since,
Since 1849. That's what I
So
meant.
that's
They
probably
didn't
why.
find the word.
No,
in
I
1849.
understand that.
They found gold and the word just came out.
Yeah, that word's been around. For
Eureka.
A little longer.
Yeah, Eureka, because it's Greek.
It's Greek.
All right.
That makes sense, though. I didn't. And there's a Eureka, California.
There is.
Was that where some gold was found?
That's a good
Come on,
I'm
question.
guessing so.
And these are the types of things that are backstories that people hurry to research.
You know, the problem is that I don't even know how to research some of this stuff because it comes up, and I wouldn't have been ready for that question.
Here's a pen. You could write it down.
The question that's already been asked.
No, I think what we serve, one of the functions we have as a podcast is we bring up questions
Okay.
for people to then research and study on their own so that they become lifelong learners. That's what we are.
yeah,
That's what this circle is all about.
We don't look up the answer. We want other people to do
Exactly. Yep. And
We're
then
just,
they can.
we're just whetting their appetite. That's really what we're doing.
Sending them homework, if you
It's
will.
a type of
So
it's a type
homework.
of the original father-son voiceover podcast and homework factory.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
State animal. It's a California grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm.
It was designated as the state animal in 1953, 30 years after the last bear was sighted. So I think the California grizzly bear is extinct.
Really
Yep. But they still have it as their state animal.
interesting.
But now, like, there's the UCLA
Bruins.
Bruins and the California Bears.
Golden bears, right?
Yeah. So I mean, bear was a big
Well,
deal back in the
It's on
heyday.
their flag too.
When,
Their state
when
flag.
they first started going out there, I was reading that the
Are
California...
you talking about the bear started going out there?
Yep. They started traveling out
maybe
there.
maybe there were too many people from Alabama that were wrestling the bears there in California, and they said we can't be like California. We've got to keep our bears.
I like watching your eyes.
We can't be like exactly. We can't be like California. All of their bears went extinct because
Because
they
they get so many
were
wrestling.
wrestling them so
Okay.
much, and so Alabama's like, hey, we want our bears around here.
All right.
So
Just trying to follow you down that path.
I
there
like
for a minute.
watching your eyes when Hudson. He's always the one that brings up the wrestling.
it's a good one. I mean, it could be possible. It could be a contributing factor.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
But no, when Europeans, Americans headed over there, the California grizzly bear was the most populous area for grizzly bears in, I think, the United States.
okay,
So California had the most grizzly bears.
Yeah, but they killed them off
because Alaska wasn't part of the United States yet either.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if maybe it was just the contiguous states they're talking about, which, for some listeners that just means the states, the 48, the lower 48 that are attached
Connected
to each other.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Dad's got some
Anyway, so
trouble over there.
they designated
Technical
that as the state
difficulties.
animal 30 years. I mean, it was no longer, they hadn't seen it in 30 years.
They still haven't.
I'm pretty sure I would imagine it's extinct, although there has been some animals that they've declared extinct and then they pop up 20, 25, 30 years later because there just aren't that many apparently. So
there's no grizzly bears.
according to the
Technically.
information that
That's
I have.
interesting. I
Yep,
didn't know that.
correct.
But there are bear there,
I think there's
right?
black
Because we
bear.
had California.
there's-
They were listed
I
as
think there's black bear,
Yeah,
and there may
okay.
be some brown bear of some sort. I don't know.
Okay.
But those are all. I don't have any
all
idea
conjecture.
about any of that. Black bear, I'm certain of. I've seen news stories of encounters at state parks in California.
Okay.
The state nickname is the Golden State. And it was made the official nickname in 1968. It is particularly appropriate since California's modern development can be traced back to the discovery of gold in 1848, and fields of golden poppies can be seen each spring throughout the state. So the Golden State, which I think a lot of us knew. So those are just some state, facts about, what specifically is designated for that state. Here are some
Just warming us up.
some fun facts.
Oh, great.
This will just be a lot of
I'm
fun.
ready to have some fun. How about you
Yeah.
guys?
San Francisco is where blue jeans were invented. Levi Strauss and business partner Jacob Davis introduced the jeans to the world in 1873. I guess that's longer back than I thought the jeans were around. Initially worn by factory workers, miners, and farmers, jeans eventually became a staple and made their way into closets around the nation and beyond. So they were blue-collar pants.
Blue jeans.
Factory workers, miners, and farmers.
What happened to Jake Davis? Levi Strauss, did he buy him out or something? He
I don't
became
know.
the one that is synonymous. I mean, it's the Levi Strauss Jean Company yet,
Yeah, you're right.
but Jake Davis
don't hear about
melted
those.
into obscurity.
Yeah. Yeah, only in this fun fact did I know that Levi Strauss had a partner.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they inventors?
Don't
Does
know.
it say anything?
Nope.
Huh.
Don't know. I mean, they were because they
Invented
invented
jeans.
jeans.
And
Dad's wearing jeans. How
I'm,
about that?
I'm
There you
wearing
are.
Levi jeans.
Are you? Nice.
Levi
That
That
Strauss
was
jeans.
smart. That was
And by the
smart.
way, I bought these in Madison back this last spring, like February, and I haven't had a pair of Levi jeans since guess when?
High school.
Yeah, high school or
Boom,
college.
high school.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
And you would not have in 1873. You would not have been wearing these because you were not a factory worker, a miner, or a farmer.
I mean, loosely, I've been a farmer.
Yeah, his dad was a farmer.
Not currently.
My great grandpa was a farmer,
You lived on a farm at
well,
least.
and my grandpa was a farmer, and I lived on a hobby farm, and I owned a 10-acre farm.
Yeah.
But I personally, you're
No,
right. I've
you're
never
not a
been a
farmer.
farmer.
Or a miner,
Yep, or a factory worker.
or a factory worker.
All right.
In 1967, San Francisco's cable cars were named the first moving national historic landmark. The San Francisco cable cars are the only ones still operating in a U.S. city.
Did you get to ride on one?
No.
I never did either
Yeah.
because
That's
I was
sketchy, isn't it?
cheapskate. No,
Yeah,
I don't
they're
think
probably
it's
expensive.
sketchy. I think it was. We just didn't want to spend
They're
the
the
money.
ones that are like, they are up in the sky. And
No,
those
they're
aren't
on the
cable
street.
cars? Oh, okay.
They're right on the street.
So they're like
and-
trolleys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because there's like those things that they have that are like on cables up in the almost like a ski lift. But
Oh,
not
yeah,
a ski
yeah.
lift. And
No,
I
these
thought maybe
are-
that's
these-
what that was.
These were mass transit
Trolleys.
before buses
Okay.
and stuff like that. In the
I don't know if there's a distinction between a trolley and a cable car. A cable car, I think, is called a cable car because they run on cables.
Oh,
They run down. A trolley, I think, it is on
tracks.
the
kind of.
tracks.
Yeah.
So maybe they call them the same thing. I don't think they do. I think
Okay.
a trolley is different than
Well, I'm
because I
sorry.
think there are trolley transportation I've seen in other cities where
Right.
where they actually have trolleys.
And right now, while we're talking and moving on to the next thing, people are on their phones or tablets.
checking
Boom,
what is the difference between a trolley and a cable car.
They're learning again because we've whetted their appetite.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Good for us.
Yep. Wondering what let me try this third time. Here you go. Third time's a charm. Wondering what the name of the world's largest tree is? Nailed it. It's General Sherman, and it lives in Sequoia National Park at nearly
Heard it.
275 feet tall and a circumference of 102 feet.
Didn't one of them?
It's certainly a large tree.
Didn't one of the most famous redwoods in California fall down or whatever? Something like that. I heard it's not up there anymore.
Did they
I have
give
to
it?
look that up.
Hopefully you didn't just chop it down.
Did
No,
they
here,
give
I'll
an
look that up.
estimation of how old that?
I don't have
Sherman
that
is?
information in front of me. I'm sure they have it online.
It's 100.
Oh.
What did you say? 100
200.
102 feet in
102.
circumference. So if you were to take a tape measure and go the outside of the base.
So I think
at the
our
bottom.
house, it's just a small ranch house we have, but with the garage, I think it's like 75 feet long. So it's would that be right? Another 25 feet in circumference around our house in a circle? Would that be right? Circumference is the whole length of the circle, right?
No, that's
From
the
what-
diameter.
You're thinking about diameter across it.
Circumference is
So
around.
circumference
Circumference
is
is around,
if
okay.
If you take a
Yeah.
string and go all the way around
Yep.
the base of it,
That's right.
and you pull that string then
Yeah.
and measure,
Yeah.
that's what the circumference
Okay,
is.
now math is coming back to me.
Yeah.
Got it. Well,
It
that's
says
very
right here
helpful.
that
Thank
one
you.
of the world's most famous trees has fallen down. It is, I think it's the one that was the tunnel tree.
Oh, wow.
Oops. Not bad.
Good to go.
The tunnel tree has fallen down, according to Hudson's research. Now, did they cut it at the
I don't
top
know
of
if
the
that's true
tunnel
or
so
not.
that the tunnel can you still go through it?
I don't know if that's true. I'm trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
it might
Okay,
be.
I'm nervous about this
Yeah, I am
research we're
too.
doing here.
It's going downhill.
Disclaimer.
Yep.
Yep.
Mond. Disclaimer.
I feel
That's the
I feel
time for
pretty
it.
comfortable about what I've got here.
Yep.
I'm not sure I feel comfortable what's going on over
I
there.
heard something about a famous tree that was there that was no longer there. It had fallen. So
You have
Yeah,
to go back to your source on that.
Let's keep learning.
Death Valley is the hottest, driest, and lowest national park in the country. Despite its morbid name, due to these extremes, a great diversity of life lives within this park. Death Valley, hottest, driest, and lowest
In the United States?
in the country.
In the country, okay.
So I don't know if that means like, so it's overall, so it's the hottest, and it's also the driest, and it's the lowest, like if it's all three of those things, or if it happens to knock two
Individually
out of those.
and collectively, yeah,
right.
we
I
don't
don't
know
really
that
know
for
what
sure.
that means, but there's a great diversity of life that lives within that park.
But the point
so-
being is that's an interesting place. We really do, excuse me, we really do, and I know I'm not the first to say this, and I'm certainly not be the last. We really do live in an amazing country. I know we live in an amazing world, but you think about all of the different
topography.
Yeah, and the different things that you can see, whether it's Zion National Park or
Grand
or
Canyon.
the Grand Canyon, or the
Some of
Great
them up
Lakes
in-
stuff,
yeah.
the oceans, all these different things are amazing.
Yep.
It's an amazing place, Death Valley.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
California is the only state that has hosted both the Summer and Winter Olympics.
Wow.
The city of Los Angeles hosted the 1932 and 1984 Summer Olympics, while Squaw Valley hosted the 1960 Winter Olympics. So that's kind of a cool distinction. Most places probably can only handle one or the other, I would think,
Yeah.
because either you have lots of, cold and mountains, or
Not
but it's
cold,
got
not
both.
mountains.
California is diverse too.
very, and it's
very
so
diverse.
long. The
Yeah.
state is so
Yeah, that
long,
helps,
so it's
doesn't
got deserts and it's got, mountains and
Vineyards and
I won't even go
trees.
on because I don't really know much more than that. California is the birthplace of the internet. In 1969, the first ARPANET, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, ARPANET, ARPANET, or maybe net is what you want to put the emphasis on because it's the internet. The first ARPANET message was sent from a UCLA site. The first message was low, L-O. He meant to say log in, but then the system crashed.
Tough.
That's technology, though,
Yep.
And that's a good work joke.
Do we have anybody in VOMP, VO Marketing Pro, that lives in California?
Yep. Several, I think. Several.
Because we got to get out there.
A handful or so.
Got to
I
get
think.
out there. You've never been there. You've never been there.
Nobody else
Demonda
really
Shaw-
has outside of mom.
No,
I think, right?
mom hasn't either.
Oh, mom hasn't either. Okay.
No, just me on a singing tour when I was a senior or a freshman in college, and you back in 2005.
Yep.
You weren't on a singing tour. You may have done some singing,
No,
but you weren't
I
on a
wasn't
singing
doing
tour.
any singing. Yeah, but I was not on a singing tour. That's for sure.
Without the internet, we wouldn't be able to be doing this right now.
True.
Yep.
Or voiceover.
Correct.
So, Fortunato.
thousands of visitors flock to the Golden Gate Bridge every year, but it wasn't always so beloved. Many originally derided the design as ugly. That's what the internet says. I don't have any backstory on that, of the derision of the Golden Gate Bridge. So I just have to believe them when they say that. This is kind of interesting. The majority of California's residents belong to a minority ethnic group. In fact, 1 out of every 4 Californians was not born in the U.S. So they're melting pot big time there. Melting
The
pot.
United States right there in a nutshell.
Oh, true. Almonds are California's top exports.
Speaking of nutshells,
Yep.
boom.
Oh,
Segue, silky segue there.
Or
nutshells.
nutshells, yeah.
Who is that? Me?
Almonds are grown there.
Yep. Most of the state's almonds are grown in the Central Valley, which is considered the world's almond capital. The world's almond capital.
So don't you think of, when you think of California, a lot of times you think of LA, or San Francisco. But north, there's all this farming that goes on. And I don't know if they still are, but they outpaced Wisconsin
Dairy,
as being the dairy state.
I think that's
So-
because a lot of the dairy farms there are state run.
It's like
So
Chicago.
they have huge dairy
It's
farms.
like Chicago. You think all of Illinois is just Chicago.
Yeah, right.
But it's not.
No.
That's at least what my small little world used to think.
Yeah.
That, this is what
Well, that's
all
the only
of
thing we would normally go through.
Yeah,
You wouldn't go
exactly.
through the rest of it. But yeah, there's Illinois, which we'll get to at a later date. So I
sorry,
don't
yeah, I
want to
didn't
be
mean to jump
talking
the
too
gun
much
there.
about it.
Well, that's a tease. See, we're getting to
so good
Illinois,
at this.
Wisconsin.
Yep.
All that's coming up.
so good at this.
Just have a few left
Just hang
here.
with us.
Okay. We've got about 6 minutes.
During the Great Depression, San Francisco successfully survived the worldwide recession. None of its banks went bankrupt during this time. San Francisco.
Good for them.
Tough.
Not sure they're doing as well these days. On average, California experiences over 100,000 earthquakes a year. Wow. Luckily, many of these earthquakes are quite feeble, they say. So small.
Would you rather be like here where I know California has, like, they say the nicest weather year round.
I'm always present. I always just want to be right here. That's just how I live, my mindset.
Nice.
So
That's an interesting take on that.
yeah.
But I'm not sure I'd like to deal with earthquakes, because where do you go? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about snowstorms or tornadoes, but I'm not sure I'd really want to be around earthquakes. I know a lot of them aren't, like you said, they're not that strong, but you imagine if you had even like a 5 on the Richter scale. Where would you go? You can't go. I mean, you lay down. What if the ground cracks under you? Anyway.
Then you go into the ground.
Yeah, you put you in the
Put you
ground.
into the ground. Me and my brother.
Those are good things to think about.
I
though.
just was.
California is truly a hub of innovation and inspires the brightest of minds. Many innovations were created here, including wetsuits, skateboards, Barbie dolls, Apple products, Frisbee, and even the internet, which we learned previously. So lots of innovation there, lots of inventors, possibly, like Levi Strauss and his friend Jake
Davis.
Jake the Snake Davis.
Who we don't know what happened to him.
Unnamed. He's going unnamed now. All right, here we go. San Francisco is also known as the City of Dogs, thanks to its unusually large pup population. I think just dog. I don't know why they say pup. As of 2016, there are only 115,000 children in the city, but between 120,000 to 150,000 dogs.
Wow.
It seems like San Francisco's residents are in favor of having 4-legged babies.
Only you.
That internet's funny stuff. Okay. Here's some fun holidays.
Let's do it. What you got?
A few more minutes to chop up these fun holidays that we've got here. We got National Cousins Day today.
Okay.
Spend some time with some cousins, some loved ones.
Might do that today.
Yeah, you're right.
We have International Self-Care Day. And this is said right here. It's, as the foundation of wellness, self-care is emphasized and prioritized on International Self-Care Day. So, they're trying to tell you to take care of yourself. The one thing that all humans are very good at doing, I think. I feel like every day is self-care day. We, when
Wake
you
up, take a shower,
yeah, you kind of are taking care of yourself
eat
all
some
day. it
food
seems
for your
like.
body.
It's rare that
Yeah.
people aren't thinking of themselves.
It's hard to wait. The first thought I have is me.
I don't need
I've
a day
gotta-
that
I've
tells
gotta
me I
start
need to
thinking
think about
other
myself.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Really important one.
So it's National Cousins Day, but it's also National Parents Day.
Oh,
So happy National Parents Day there.
thank you.
Say something to Mom later
Let's
on.
do something good for Mom and I today.
Let's try to do that.
We'll come and watch baseball.
Okay.
We'll get a dub
Hopefully
for
we
you.
get a W.
Yeah. And it is we've slammed Amelia Earhart a couple times on this show,
Let's do it again.
but we won't do that today
Oh,
because
okay.
it's National Amelia Earhart Day,
Okay.
which is also her birthday today. So say a
Happy
nice
birthday,
word
Amelia.
about Amelia Earhart today.
She's a great passenger.
She was the first one to go over the Atlantic as well. So that's a thing.
Did she go over? Did she make it over? Or did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah,
No,
she
that
was
was
trying to
a
go
later-
around the
that was
world.
a
I think she's
later
trying to
What was
go
the other
around
one?
world.
Bermuda,
Okay.
right?
We don't know the Bermuda Triangle or something. How much time we got?
We have probably a minute and a half.
Just real quickly, I want you to know that we listen to our viewers because I asked last week. I thought we should eat, and you notice
Aside from our taste tests.
right. But
Yes.
but the point being is our listeners fed back and said, no, I don't think you should eat. It was one listener. It was Cal.
It was strong. He was strong about
He
it.
was strong
too.
about
Yeah.
it, and he had reasons. I asked him what were the reasons, and he told me. And so, what people want, we try to give, and that was one of them. So I won't. I probably won't be eating.
Three out of four
yeah.
people on this podcast. You could have just listened to your other podcasters because I felt
This is a Todd Tatership on here.
I thought
so-
you were biased
Did
against.
you hear me? It's a Todd Tatership.
I guess not, because 100% of our
okay.
viewers' comments said that we did not want you eating on
Okay,
here.
I'm turning over a new leaf. When you guys on the podcast, when you guys talk to me about something, I'm going to do my
Yeah, at
best.
least
Well, we
take it
need
into
to bring up.
consideration.
Then I can't wait
Okay.
to bring up all sorts of topics here because
Let's
if
do
you're going to
it.
listen on the podcast, then
Okay,
let's
do it.
bring up all sorts of things.
That'll be a segment of this. What you want me to think about and
in
change
5 to
and
10
work
years, we'll bring you up here and we'll say, Dad,
about. No driving.
the keys need to be set right here and no more driving.
Yeah. Is that all you
In
have?
5 to 10 months,
You
maybe.
make a list and we'll talk about it.
Okay,
I go ahead.
Is that all you got?
that's all I got.
That's all Drew has for us. We're all facted out right now.
Demon's gonna be so happy that he's not gonna have to edit an extra section
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks for watching the original Father Son Voiceover podcast. Thanks for the couch potatoes. Thanks to Drew.